16 and 17-year-old from D.C. are facing charges.
Ever wondered how some criminals can be spectacularly bad at their craft? Prepare yourself for a series of unbelievable blunders as we delve into the world of carjackers who messed with the wrong people. From a botched heist in broad daylight to a daring showdown at a gas station, these stories showcase the sheer incompetence and audacity of some of the dumbest carjackers you've ever seen.
Help you?
You'll witness quick-thinking heroes, unexpected turns of events, and justice served in the most satisfying ways. Buckle up for a wild ride through these epic fails. Number 1. Carjacker's bold failure. Let's dig right into it with this guy who doesn't fret about trying to steal the car right in front of its owner and multiple of his friends. Since it was all happening in broad daylight, he couldn't have hoped to catch them by surprise or pull this off by being stealthy. Considering what you will see happen in just a moment, you will realize that he is not even the best of drivers. So what the hell was this dude thinking? As he tries to escape with the vehicle, he nearly hits a nearby pedestrian. Probably deciding that it isn't worth turning this carjacking into a murder, he crashes nearby. Then, the dudes he tried to escape from catch up to him and deliver swift justice. After making sure the car is right, they make the dude wait for the cops, but even then, he tries to escape and earns himself another tackle. Number 2. A meeting with the van's door. This fellow was clearly eyeing this Range Rover in front of him, and after briefly considering jacking it, he stole what he could find and tried to escape. But it seems he has chosen the worst possible moment to attempt this, considering he comes face to face with a police vehicle. Still, the guy doesn't seem to want to give up and tries escaping, just to be struck down by a cop who uses the police van's door very effectively. Who knows what this guy could accomplish were he given Captain America's shield? And this brings to a close the quickest carjacking failure ever. Number 3. Carjacker faces skilled owner's fury. Now this dude may be the definition of a wrong person to mess with. Considering how well he handled himself, we can say that he is the right person to teach carjackers a lesson. Even though 2 of them approached him and were armed, he showed that he would not back up. He strikes the weapon out of the carjacker's hand before masterfully throwing him on the ground and subduing him. Entirely helpless, the carjacker gets only to scream like a little girl before he is pushed away by the car owner. Number 4. Carjacker's bizarre showdown. The woman who was walking towards her parked car couldn't have expected what was about to happen, considering that not even we can notice the carjacker hiding behind the other vehicle. As soon as she opens the car door and enters, this guy takes it as a green light and rushes to pull her out of the vehicle. Now, we don't know if you're familiar with the beginning of Dark Knight Rises, but there seems to be quite a complicated dynamic between a few carjackers who decided to prey upon this lady, and not just that, but also each other. One after another, they try to be the last man, well, not standing, but driving. And things become even weirder once the third dude joins the party. What in the hell is in this car, lady, and who's the mastermind behind this crazy event? Number 5. Truck heist gone wrong. Now, let's try to think logically. If this carjacker wasn't planning to have a high-speed pursuit, that would earn him some time in prison. Why would he choose such a huge target? Apparently, stealing the truck and the trailer attached to it wasn't enough, but there was also a worker who operates this on-the-move coffee shop back in there. Evidently, this fellow has no idea how the driving game changes when you're dragging something as huge as this trailer, and he ends up crashing and trying to run away on foot, but doesn't really get far. He actually tried to hide after causing so much ruckus, which clearly wasn't the first bad idea he had that day. Number 6. Gas nozzle stops carjackers. Filling up his reservoir, this guy must have had thoughts that led him far away from where he actually was. Well, he must have been brought back to reality from his daydreaming as soon as he realized a white van parked right next to his car, and a number of fellas jumped out of it, running towards him. The guy doesn't even flinch, and the car thieves should consider themselves lucky it was just a petrol pump nozzle that he had and not a real weapon. Considering how well executed his defense was, he might as well be a gunslinger. Number 7. Thief thrown by fearless driver. This carjacker must have felt pretty brave, and more importantly, firm, since he ran right in front of a moving car, swinging his weapon toward the driver. But a second before he was flung through the air, he must have realized this wasn't going to end well for him. The dude has definitely messed with the wrong guy, as we see what could be his buddies lifting him up before all three of them escape empty-handed. Number 8. Teens fail a car theft.
16 and 17-year-old from DC are facing charges.
Every job in the world requires you to have at least the minimum requirement or skills to do it. The rest, they thought, would be simple. After this guy has filled up his car with gas, these two run up to him, manage to pull him out of his vehicle, steal his keys, get into the car, and guess what? They realize there's a piece of equipment inside of it that they are unfamiliar with. Well, the manual stick was apparently enough to beat these two hilarious wannabe carjackers. Number 9. You are not getting far. Now, this dude must have thought that carjacking comes as easy as when you're playing a video game such as Grand Theft Auto. Namely, what started out as a car chase took a few weird turns since this dude kept destroying and damaging the vehicles before stealing another just so he could keep going. Considering that the chase was supported from the air, we got clean footage of him pulling the woman out of her car before driving away with it. However, since he ends up causing a collision, he runs on foot, once again trying to reach his freedom, but it seems he's out of luck this time. Number 10. A heroic standoff. If you think about it, gas stations are usually where our cars are left unattended for a period of time. This is why car thieves often use these brief moments as an opportunity to attempt to get away with our vehicles. As this lady was getting her some gas, we saw a car thief who pulled up and tried to sneak into her SUV. The dude, however, probably wasn't ready for this action movie-like performance that she shows. She jumps at the top of her own vehicle and refuses to let go, making sure the dude isn't getting away with it. Even after he has given up, the lady struggles to get a hold of her car, which has already started going towards a busy street that we see in the back. Still keeping up the action movie character vibes, the lady jumps off the front of her car and manages to get in before a disaster happens. Even though we have seen her bravery, after everything was done, we can clearly realize what a shock this was as she slides to the pavement, probably trying to catch her breath. Number 11. Desperate thief's chaotic escape. This carjacker seems to have been very desperate to steal someone's vehicle, considering that he first attempted to take this woman's car keys, but since there was a brave bystander close by, he intervened, kicking the carjacker away from the woman. Well, this did stop his first carjacking attempt, but then he moved on to another car from a guy who was filling it with gas. He jumps into the car, and even though the car owner and another bystander try to stop him, this guy manages to press the gas pedal, throwing one of them to the ground. However, the car owner seems to have been very decisive not to let this happen, even as the car is driving in circles, almost causing dangerous accidents. The dude keeps hanging tight to the vehicle that he's trying to stay the owner off, and what a brave fella this was, considering that he truly managed to do so and chase the carjacker away. That is the wrong man to mess with, we would say. Number 12. Thieves overpowered by quick thinking. This guy had the idea that he could just walk up to the young fellows who we see standing near their car, and after robbing them blind, he probably intended to steal their vehicle as well. However, things don't go so well for him, considering that 3 of the guys sprung into action after realizing this may as well save them their lives, valuables, and car. The 4th dude, however, doesn't seem to want to wrinkle his nice shirt, and he resorts to standing behind, watching as his friends are taking on not just the first dude, but another one who came in to help him. After fighting them off, the guys even managed to steal their weapons and chase them away while calling the cops. Number 13. The owner turns his car into a trap. How easily tables can turn on you when you're a carjacker. These guys will learn from the following experience. They clearly messed with the wrong dude, considering that after using a weapon to threaten him away from his own car, both of them managed to push him away, but he definitely put up a serious fight, already drawing a lot of attention and causing a serious commotion, which these guys wanted to avoid. However, as one of them gets in the vehicle, he fails to realize that he doesn't have the keys, and the owner has decided to use his own car as a trap, holding the door so he doesn't let the thieves get out. In the end, they had to break free by jumping out the door on the other side. Number 14. Robber gets instant parking lot justice. In this unbelievable turn of events, this robber turned into a carjacker and then into a subdued criminal who experienced instant karma. Basically, this fellow has just robbed people in a nearby place and thought to himself that this wasn't enough. He probably hoped to gain even a vehicle from this attempt, but the car owner wasn't a person to mess with. As soon as he recognizes what's going on, he backs up, nearly squishing the criminal against another car. But then, realizing that this dude will just go on to commit other crimes, he decides to take justice into his own hands and sends the criminal flying. Number 15. Elderly man's unexpected carjacking fight. Being an old-timer doesn't make you helpless, which is something that this carjacker had to find out the hard way. After trying to steal from what he thought would be an easy target, he learned that there was plenty of strength left in this 80-year-old man. Even though he provided a ferocious fight, he couldn't get a hold of the carjacker. However, considering that he failed to start the car, the thief had no chance of getting away with it. Number 16. 2 versus 1, no biggie. 2 smug-looking carjackers approached this truck and nonchalantly got in it. Considering how easy this started, they probably expected smooth sailing from here on out. However, this wasn't going to be the case. The owner realizes something's up and walks out of the gate, enraged like a bull. He opens the door and immediately shows a strong front, attacking the first carjacker, who probably saw what he could expect from this big fella and ran away. Number 17. Quick action stops a car theft. Imagine briefly checking your security camera footage and realizing there's a person in your vehicle trying to probably find the keys and escape with it. Well, these folks weren't having it.
Can I help you?
They ran out of their house and flanked this dude, going at him from both possible exits. They put up a brave fight, and the dude is soon put in his place as we see him apologizing and pleading to be let go. Another man noticed what was happening and ran up to provide help, but it didn't seem any support was necessary in subduing this carjacker. Number 18. An unexpected passenger. This guy has gotten more out of a car theft than he hoped for. After getting into the vehicle, he actually drove away, but it took him a few moments before he realized he had another passenger with him. It turned out to be a baby, and he decided that turning the carjacking into a kidnapping wasn't going to do him any good, especially considering he was caught on security cameras. Desperate, the guy entered a store and screamed at the workers to take the baby and call the cops. Number 19. Stick shift complicates things. This carjacking started out as a very scary experience, but soon turned into quite a hilarious one, considering that even though the truck owner decided it wasn't worth risking his life when there was an armed fellow on the other side, this car theft ended up in failure. Namely, after chasing the owner away and getting into the truck, he discovered that he might need a few lessons in driving before he could get back to his trade, as it requires the skill of manual transmission using a gear stick. Number 20. Woman's fierce resistance. As this lady was leaving a store and going towards her vehicle, we saw from the other side of the street that there were 2 carjackers waiting for her to show up. They start by trying to grab her purse, hoping to get to her car keys, but she doesn't go easily and puts up a fight. Still, considering it was a 2-on-1, they managed to steal the keys from her, and one of them got behind the wheel. They may have thought that this would be the end of this story, but the woman wasn't about to let it slide. She opens the door and starts throwing the strongest punches she has in her. Even receiving a few heavy hits, she doesn't give up and shows that she is prepared to fight for her belongings. After briefly managing to push her away from the car, even the other dude gets in the vehicle, but they don't seem to take her conviction and ferociousness very seriously, since even as they are moving her whole body by backing up, she doesn't give up. The fight continues, and we see that a car is parked behind, but someone in there seems reluctant to get out and help. Number 21. Quick-thinking thwarts carjackers. These people were driving and noticed that 3 armed fellows blocked their path and started running towards their car. Imagine the panic that the driver must have felt, but he doesn't let it go to his head, and he realizes that these carjackers may be some of the dumbest people they have ever seen. Even though they tried to catch up to this fellow on foot, they couldn't do so. Good job, dummies. Number 22. Brave mom fights off carjackers. You know that unbelievable strength that mothers are known to exert when their children are threatened. Well, these carjackers ganged upon the poor woman, thinking this would be an easy job. But what they didn't know is that she had children in that vehicle, and her fight wasn't just to protect her car, but also her offspring. Like a true warrior, the woman manages to battle all 3 perpetrators, chasing 2 of them away immediately. Number 23. Outnumbered owner's fierce defense. The guy who seems like Blue Luigi was getting fuel for his car when 3 carjackers ganged upon him. He probably even realized that something was up and approached the first guy with caution. But he didn't realize that the guy in the white was just a distraction, as the other dude entered through the passenger seat door. Our hero here understands that he is outnumbered and probably tries thinking of a way out when a brawl starts between him and the first carjacker we saw. At the same time, another one of the crew joins from behind and tries to aid in subduing the car owner. However, our champion here doesn't give up, even when it's 3 against 1. Making a wise decision in an unfavorable situation, the guy decides to put his trust in the security camera footage that has caught the whole incident. Number 24. Street robbery caught on dashcam. If this wasn't caught by the dashboard camera of a vehicle in the back, we probably wouldn't believe it's possible. The footage also shows how we got the license plate of the thief's car. The black car, whose door we briefly see opened, certainly confirms there are some uncultured people back there who seem to be littering in the middle of the street. But that is nothing compared to what they do next. One of them exits and sneaks behind another car. He then strikes the back window, breaking it and stealing stuff before they drive away with it. Number 25. Incompetent thieves crash stolen car. Here's another dumb pair of carjackers who have managed to steal a vehicle, and we see that the owner is trying not to let them get away with it. However, they don't even seem to know how to drive a car and end up crashing it before they have to abandon it and run away. The owner must have been shocked by what just happened. Number 27. Quick thinking saves the day. When you drive an attractive vehicle, trouble can easily find you out of nowhere. The guy in the white car realized that something was up since he was followed by some suspicious-looking dudes. He decided to wait for the perfect moment to pull off his escape. Acting as if he were about to park, he ended up triggering the carjackers to attack him. Still, as soon as one of them leaves the vehicle, he drives quickly away from them, nearly smashing one of the car thieves and damaging their vehicle. Since they realized how easily outsmarted they were, they must have felt dumb and left.
A 16 and 17-year-old from D.C. are facing charges in Montgomery County.
As you've seen, even the most daring criminals can spectacularly fail when they mess with the wrong people. From an elderly man's bravery to a quick-thinking driver, justice prevails in the most unexpected ways.
Help you?
These tales remind us that courage and quick wit often triumph over sheer audacity. We hope you enjoyed the content that we prepared for you today. Thank you for watching.